silent as lice. It's a usual scene, the couch deeply ingrained with old sweat, his refusal to open up, to change, not a chance. She starts to slap his face, his knees. His eyes grow stiffer, immovable. He's silent as lice. Doesn't even ask her to stop. So she doesn't. She goes for his wrist, her hands smudged with blood, his eyes fixed on her. She's startled by the sound of neighbors outside barbecuing, laughing, eating. Could it be? Is she the same species? She looks at her hands, examines them closely, then stops. This is a very prevalent thing going on right now. Foreclosure. The woman stands before her home. The doors are chained together. She's peering through familiar windows just to catch a glimpse of what's there now. The place is dimmer, sterile. Walls become parched of old tears. She's the marked one in this town, where geraniums gush blood and sparrows circle like vultures to devour all that remains. Last date, he said, "Good night, moonshine," saliva dripping from the corners of his mouth. "I'll give you the loins of my labor on a platter of platinum." She managed to smile, choking on a macadamia nutshell, still flavored with licorice liqueur. He bent to kiss her. Her lips tightened, teeth clenched against the juicy droplets round his mouth. She thought for a while, knowing he'd probably keep his promises and how easy life could be, cleared her throat, a lingering frigidity preceding a hacking silence. She faced him with not very much to say, focusing on the glistening saliva and faint odor of old gray sweat. She turned away and opened the door of her cold, unfurnished flat to sleep on hard ideals, soft seas, star fields, nights, and all that. Dreaming, I think it's called. We'll take away the sadness. Fine-tooth comb. When I came back from summer camp 3 weeks prematurely, I just developed breasts, or just got too fat from all that starch. No one really knew the difference. Strangely enough, I miss my mother more than my father. I miss my father more than my mother. Dreamt he died. Did he miss me that much? I pretended I couldn't swim, throw balls so I'd get kicked out, stopped showering, couldn't fathom standing naked among my bunkmates. What got me home was lice. Lovely little friends crawling on my scalp. Oh, the warmth of that fine tooth comb lovingly gliding through my hair. This is the title poem of my first book, Yesterday's Breakfast. It was absorbed somewhere, all that was worth the process. The elegant crimson love seat, oriental birds strung in flight, on a water-stained silk screen there in transparent form. The rooms are empty, and the paint on the sills and woodwork is warped and chipped. A soft beam rests on the hot pink carpet in my daughter's room. The plum pansies on the wallpaper sag in old moisture. I left my cheerful yellow gloves on the kitchen table near yesterday's breakfast the last time I was there. Bet they've turned to hard and dirty gold from waiting. 1 and 2. 1. On those days, dim misty, visions unclear, your words, intense, firm, became my thoughts. Your thoughts depleted my means. Lack of fortune became my art. My art, my voice, my weapon, too. What if I told you to leave? If when I passed your room, those familiar scents faded, I could never stop looking at the old cherished photo of our trip to Venice. Now, a short dream, small and meaningless. If telling you to leave was the worst thing I ever did, why do I open the window after another harried night to another day's bouquet of life? Poor. Your jean pockets bulge with crinkled bills held tight by a dirty rubber band. You gawk at statements from the bank in fear of next year, ignoring an annoying present. Don't you notice the tattered threads under your suit cuffs, their blackness with the grimy sheen from wear? Maybe Dickens had the solution. I'll become the ghost of Christmas future, scare you so you'll hurl your bills into the air everywhere like a whimsical flower girl tossing rose petals. Photos. This is a picture I see every morning of my kids. They get me up. Photo, August 1975. Hair swept up by sea winds. They sat together on the jetty, sat like that in life's ringings. Her mouth oval, his lips perched. For she was singing, he was humming, laughter ringing, humming, singing, sweet and fluid voices over the gull's harsh one notes. She was 8, he 3. Darkness only at the curled edges. But the photo is the laughter, ringing, humming, singing, sandpiper's dunes to salt air clinging. Knee socks. It was spring, hardly a time for wool knee socks, but Mom knew about early spring and its expected chill in the air. Still, no short anklets, no school, I thought, and stood at the front of the stoop with stiffly folded arms, my book bag on the ground, its strap trapping my feet in place. The house. Did I close its doors knowing I wouldn't return? I pass its warm mystery of long moments, unlimited, whole, formed happiness piled up neatly. When I first entered, I realized somehow it was our last stop, an ending. It was an uncertain structure, sadly bent at the foot of a hill, slanted to the right and barely left. A strange settling, the carpenters all said. Our Lady Macbeth. Around the bountiful kitchen table, serious issues were discussed, usually when I was almost in the depths of sleep. My ears drew bits of conversation in. Curling up like a curious puppy, I would listen to the worried words of concern. The dilemma of my sister's hand-washing ritual came up. My mother painfully explained how Doris, a near genius and my sister's closest friend, would bite her nails and chew on pencil erasers. She turned to my father, who offered no solace, and my sympathies went unnoticed. My sister's listless eyes would look toward the stainless basin filled with oily water, her meditative river. twisting and turning her young, wrinkled hands, fingers on fire. What were her hands to touch or not to touch? What did they pull apart or idly hold together? What imagined dealings in her palms to ring incessantly, doubled over at the sink in fiendish prayer, turning the furious white foam pitch black.